Ladies and gentlemen, the athletes of the 2008 Arctic Winter Games!
To all of the participants and organizers, I say, you are the brightest stars in the northern sky. That's why we are all here tonight. Good luck et bonne chance.
Please light the cauldron!
It gives me great pleasure to officially declare the 20th Arctic Winter Games open.
This is one of the most popular sports at the Games, athletes preparing themselves and looking for the main prize.
I really want a gold in stickball.
It would not be surprising to see Crystal Cooey of Aklavik in the Northwest Territories to take medals back home. In the last Games, she took home 5 medals.
I won 1 gold, 2 silver and 2 bronze.
The stickpole is a game that came from grabbing fish when hunters were out on the land. One has to have good strength in the hands, arms and back. Athletes also need good balance.
Well, you have a grease stick and there's a line in between it and your opponent stands next to you and you just grip and then all it is, it's just a straight pull back. There's no twisting, no nothing in it.
But there are twists and turns. There are those playing the games for the first time, and even for veteran competitors, the rules here may not be the same as those they train by. Athletes agree the team to watch out for this year is Alaska. The Alaskans have always done well in this event at the Arctic Winter Games. Other teams are uncertain how they will do.
I'm not sure because it's the first time we are competing in Dene Games. I'm in Greenland. And yeah, so far we have won a bronze medal.
One thing everyone agrees on is that this is a friendly competition where winning is not everything. Like their ancestors, these athletes know helping each other and doing their best is what counts.
I just wrestled someone, I just found out I was stronger than him, so I just started throwing him, like Inuit style throws.
Wrestling includes both free and Inuit styles, with the latter restricted to upper body wrestling. Vincent Ningyungen has been wrestling freestyle for 3 years and took up Inuit wrestling in the lead up to this year's AWG. He says training for each kind of wrestling helps with the other, even though the difference is significant.
In freestyle wrestling we could shoot for their legs and go to their back and do stuff, but on Inuit wrestling we have to hold our hands together all the time. We can't break it up. We have to hold it.
The majority of Team Nunavut wrestles out of Coral Harbor. That's also where their coach is based. His strategy, he says, is to use the speed and upper body power Nunavut athletes use in Inuit wrestling to overwhelm their freestyle wrestling opponents.
A lot of our moves are outside the mat where we use a lot of turning because the Inuit are strong upper body. That's where basically their style comes in when they lock upper body. They can throw, right? They don't let go of the grip.
Aside from Nunavut and Northern Alberta, teams from Alaska and the NWT are competing in team wrestling, with both males and females hitting the mat. Inuit wrestling will take place this Thursday at Mildred Hall. There's a public workshop with instruction in the morning and a competition with ulus on the line in the afternoon.
pretty big crowd showed up. Some made it clear who they're cheering for. Alaska took the lead early on and kept it. At the end of the game, it was a shutout win for Alaska. At least these guys got to play. Nunavut's starting goalie was forced to sit out after an injury on the opening day of competition. The puck was being dumped out of the zone and it got shot back in, and it got me right on the leg. Then it was off to the lake near Dilo, where the Dene sport of snow snake was being played. Everybody was trying hard, but Team NWT came out on top in the open male category. Travis Grandjam set a new record of 491 feet. One participant says you need a special touch to set a record like that.
You got to land it just perfect, and you got to find the right track for it, and so it takes a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill, and just kind of like throwing stones on a lake, you know. Some people can launch them 25 skips, some can do 2.
Towards the day's end, the action at the volleyball court was fierce. One of the final games of the day was a junior girls game between Alberta and Yukon. The teams were evenly matched, all right. In the end, Alberta took the win, despite playing all day long.
Yeah, it was really tiring. Like, that was our third game, and that was like, we went to 3 sets, and it was just back and forth. Yeah. They're a good team, so it's always tough.
It's been another busy day at the games, and one thing's for sure. There's still plenty more action to come at the AWG.
Normally, this is a gravel quarry for Yellowknife and an unofficial place for snowboarders to come and build jumps. This week during the Arctic Winter Games, it is a full-on facility for snowboarding. With jumps, rails, and a slalom course, the gravel pit has been totally transformed. It now resembles a snowboard terrain park you'd find at a ski resort. One local snowboarder says she barely recognized the place when she saw the new setup.
Well, first time came here once they built everything, it was like, wow, because it's so much different. Like, it looks awesome out here. So normally pretty flat. Now you have all this new stuff, and even people from out of town are pretty impressed with the terrain.
Nice work, Chase, with style too.
Snowboard park designers worked 16-hour days to get the hill built in time. One of them says it's worth it if it shows Yellowknifers that a local snowboard area is possible.
You know, if you're from Yellowknife, you know that this is a gravel pit, and you know that this is not a respectable snowboard area until you drive by it, today or, in the next couple days. You're going to be like, holy, I can't believe that this is actually in Yellowknife right now. And you can see that there's some great rails set up. There's, a good quarter pipe. There's a half-decent snowboard, bank slalom track over there. So if you come check it out, then you can get an idea of what is possible within this city.
Ross agrees. She got her start snowboarding on family trips to ski hills in the south. She hopes this hill inspires a new generation of Yellowknife riders.
There's like 8-year-olds who go down south to get lessons because there's nothing to do here, so I think it'll inspire a lot of younger kids to get started, and then they can actually get somewhere with it, hopefully.
Snowboarding is the only sport to be added to the Arctic Winter Games since 1988. Since then, it's taken off. Today's slalom races were a success with plenty of Yellowknife talent.
Give it up for the local boy representing Northwest Territories, Daryl Tate.
Daryl Tate won gold in the junior male race. The only thing Yellowknife snowboarders are waiting for now is a chairlift to get them back up to the top of the hill.
And the cross-country skiing sprints are underway. Conditions are not perfect, but coaches say it's not too bad. It's a bit chilly, but the trails are in good conditions, and there are strong teams from all regions. That adds up to a great competition, but there is still no doubt which teams are the favorites.
So there's not a weak contingent here, but definitely the Sami and the Russian contingents are probably the strongest.
North Americans and the Greenlanders have done well in this event over the years. but they know they have their work cut out for them. Some Sami skiers are competing at the Games for the third time, and they are doing well.
We are quite satisfied with the results. So.
What does that mean?
We have 1 gold and 3 bronze medals, and so it's okay.
Despite that, Sami and other skiers know they must give an extra push against the Russians. But there is a sense they have a chance, maybe a good chance. Coaches say in a mass start event, anything can happen. Almost everyone has a chance to take a gold ulu home.
Of course, in a race like today, when you've got 6 skiers going head-to-head, it's not necessarily always the fastest skier that wins. So the message to my skiers is ski safely, get to the finals, and then anything can happen.
But still, the Russians are the ones to beat, and the other teams could have had an advantage in a relay race later this week. The Russians may have not been able to enter a team, but in the spirit of the Arctic Winter Games, the other teams will allow the Russians to substitute a biathlon skier for a skier who was not able to compete.
Let your light shine. Right here, right now. Right here, right now.
The Nunavut girls battled until the very end, but as the seconds ticked down, it was a one-sided win for Yamal. But the battle and the score didn't stop the two teams from palling around during a photo shoot after the game. One basketball organizer says Team Nunavut's fate against Yamal isn't much different than other teams who faced the newcomer powerhouse.
They came in kind of as an unknown, so there's a lot of buzz about them. They've come in and they've won their games, and most of them, pretty easily. But they haven't come up against the NWT team yet, who think is going to play a different type of game against them. So I think that's going to gauge where they stand here. But so far, they've come in and kind of dominated their category.
In the junior men's category, the Alaskans are still trying to find their feet. They enter the AWG tournament each time with a bit of a handicap. The age limit for Team Alaska is 3 years younger than other teams. One of Team Alaska's oldest players says they use the lower age limit as motivation.
We're definitely the underdogs, but that should be a confidence builder. Easy. We know we were the easiest, youngest team coming into this by far, and we just came out here and tried to prove, even though you're younger, we still have the experience to go out there and compete with the older guys.
The rule grew out of Alaska's history of basketball dominance at the AWG. But now, as basketball catches on and develops in other parts of the circumpolar world, some wonder if it's time to revisit the rule.
From Alaska's standpoint, maybe they'll bring it up as an issue because, traditionally the Alaska teams have been very strong, very competitive, and always the team to beat in this sport. And this year in particular, it hasn't been the case yet.
The Alaskan players are also thrown together for this tournament, so it takes a few games for them to gel as a team. The Alaskans kept pace with Team NWT this morning for 3/4 of the game, with the home team pulling away at the end. Alaska's junior males haven't won a game yet, but their coach says they're coming together. In the end, they could also be a threat in an already competitive category.
It's called the Snowshoe Biathlon. The event requires a contrary mix of skills. It requires cool concentration, the focus of a sharpshooter, and the speed of a long-distance runner.
You have to be able to ski like a rabbit or snowshoe like a rabbit and shoot like a rock.
The distance is 5 kilometers. After 1 kilometer, an athlete gets 5 shots at the shooting range. For every target they miss, there is a penalty of running an extra round. The challenge for runners is to run the course as quickly as they can, but also slow down their body enough to shoot well to avoid a penalty.
Focus, control heartbeats and breathing, and shoot and hit a target.
Today was not a good day for hitting the target. Many of the competitors had to pay the penalty.
Running the penalty loops because because shooting's really important, and I missed a bit more than I used to.
This morning the temperature was minus 27. Even though it did warm up enough for the races to go ahead, the cold weather presented challenges.
It's quite hard because your fingers get really cold, and it's hard to control the trigger, and you pull lots of bullets, and it's quite hard.
What was the biggest challenge you had out there?
Shooting, definitely. Fully shooting.
And there were other challenges.
The first race, I had a really good race and I won the gold. And then the second race, my snowshoes came off, I crossfired, I just had a disaster. So today I'm out there to win again.
All the athletes are out to win. There will be some of those who will be disappointed. But in a sport where the athletes have to run 5 kilometers and shoot 20 rounds and do it all in a cold and windy day, in the end it could be said they are all winners.
Finger pole is a test of strength. It also tests an athlete's tolerance for pain. Athletes from Alaska and the Yukon did pretty well. In the final, though, it was all Nunavik. Mario Rupert faced Paul Savard for the gold uru. In the end, Rupert won the medal. But they both left happy. Not far away, another of the traditional sports was being played, the triple jump. The farthest jump wins, and the Greenlanders were landing some good ones in the junior male category. Other athletes were jumping even further, but you have to stick the landing for it to count. The NWT's Chad Memogana took the gold ulu with this jump. Of course, there's time to trade a few pins. Then the females got hopping in the open category. Nunavut's Susie Pierce took second place. But it was Alaska that took the gold this time. Erica Meckel just learned how to do the triple jump a few hours before the competition. She's seen a lot of cooperation between teams here.
Definitely between our team, everybody, even like when we're competing up against other people, they come up and they'll help and they give advice, and it's the people that we're competing against, and they're just being really friendly and nice and helpful. It's really cool.
The key to success is keeping your balance. It may look simple enough to take off on 2 feet, keep them together, hit the target, and then land back on both feet at once, but it's not. Team Nunavik's coach Willis Tagolnach says it takes a lot of practice.
You got to constantly learn to put different stretches in order to be able to get yourself flexible, and you got to work on your ab muscles a lot because it's basically your ab muscles that are lifting your legs in order to hit the target.
Nunavik's Alex L. won the gold in the junior men's category at the last games in Alaska. This time around, he's competing with the senior men.
It feels kind of exciting because it's my first time, and I think I'm the youngest in all the open male.
Traditionally, Alaska does well in this event. The world records for both senior and junior men were set by Alaskan brothers Brian and Nick Randazzo in 1988 and have yet to be broken.
Who would you say is your biggest competition?
Oh, I'd have to say, I think it's Nunavut would definitely be one of the tougher ones. Nunavut, they're all tough.
With Aero out of the running in the junior category, the Alaskans dominate the field for a while. But eventually, 15-year-old Ronnie Anawak, first in his family to go to the games, outjumps them all, making 7 feet and winning the gold.
The highest I've ever been was 6'8", and I didn't think I'd get this high. Pretty excited right now.
With the junior men out of the way, the heavy hitters take to the floor. It doesn't take long for the field to narrow, leaving only Nunavut's Aero to take on Nunavut's Sean Nipisak. He won the gold in this event at the last games, and he's come back this year stronger than ever. Aero holds his own until the target reaches 7 feet 10 inches. He tries, but it's just too high. But not for Nipisak, who nails it and then goes on to try to go past 8 feet. The crowd holds their breath, but in the end, the world record is safe, at least for another 2 years.
This is a sport that requires brute strength. There is some strategy involved, but in this sport, the bigger, the better. But even the teams that do not have size on their side are making the best of it and having fun.
They're not saying, oh, they're big. It's just we can beat them. They're having a good strength in that.
The pole push is the exact opposite of the tug of war. The team that pushes the other team outside the circle wins. For some of these athletes, this is the first time they're taking part in the sport.
We have to hold it like this, and we have to pull. You know, the anchor have to go like this and pull, and we have to go, and Inko have to go say paw, and we paw.
While the veterans of the games know strength is important, there are other strategies involved.
We just talk things through and make sure we're all on the same page, make sure we know, get down low when we have to get down low and push like hell when we can.
What is the key? Staggering yourself along each side of the pole and just getting a really good grip, getting that first push out.
Competitors say conditions are just right for the event today. At -14, it's not too hot, and soft snow provide good grip for shoes. But most competitors agree if you have brute strength and size on your side, there's a very good chance you will grab the gold ulu.
Inside the rink, it's volleyball central, and the Alaskan boys are starting to look and play like a volleyball team.
After we lost our first 5 to each team, we started winning, and we have only lost Alberta after that. So we're developing a lot together. There's a lot of chemistry going on.
Walsworth says he has never really played organized volleyball, but he is a state all-star on the soccer field. That's typical of the Alaskan players, good athletes who haven't played much, if any, competitive volleyball.
Like we play it like it's kind of cool, but I'd rather be snowboarding. No one's actually serious about volleyball. Scott was more of a basketball player, Mark was a soccer player, Brant was a wrestler.
The fun, playful attitude towards the game for these relative volleyball newcomers seems to be working. Their coach says athletic ability is also handy.
We've got 8 guys trying to play together, get to know the dynamics on the court, and then try to win. And luckily for me, they come with a lot of raw talent.
Coach Dioric says the talent is a bonus after he picked a team based on character and without actually having seen most of the kids play in person.
This team that I have, 6 out of the 8, had used the internet, the YouTube. They made a video with the song and everything, and they send it through YouTube to me.
Luke Kirkham was one of the players who used the video as a tryout for the team.
It's the best way to showcase our skills because we don't really have much achievement, so, you know.
After the Arctic Winter Games, the players from Team Alaska will no doubt have some achievements to list. They're in strong contention for an ulu.
About 300 million people play table tennis worldwide, and it's one of the original sports at the Arctic Winter Games.
Actually, I got interested in table tennis at the first Arctic Winter Games in 1970. They were played in the basement of a Cacho Hall, and I watched it, and in 72, I went to the games in Whitehorse, and with my partner, won gold in doubles.
Contrary to what some may think, table tennis is a very physical sport.
Well, I think it's a terrific sport. It has speed, a lot of technical elements in terms of the different types of shots and spins. It's very demanding physically, and as you just saw a match, it's a very fast and quick game.
Greenland took the gold medals at the last games in Alaska, but this time around they're facing fierce competition from the Russian team.
I think Jamal is strongest, but in juvenile male, I think our player is strongest. We have a chance, yes.
This is 16-year-old Pavel Rybinen's first international games, but so far he says there's been little competition. Greenland is okay, but overall the other players are not playing at the same level, but I'm enjoying the experience. Nunavut doesn't traditionally dominate in this sport, but their new coach may change that. Up until 2 years ago, Attila Saba was coaching Canada's national table tennis team. Now he teaches phys ed in Qulluq.
I was so happy to move up to the north for Qulluq because I was in Ottawa before the national team coach, and over there they're very good athletes, but the enthusiasm sometimes was missing. Here the kids, they can play 6-7 hours a day sports, they love sports, and they are very talented too.
Saba says the sport is growing in popularity in many Nunavut communities, and it's a game that demands both physical and mental endurance.
You have to focus all the time. So this game has become very, very difficult, because if you lose the concentration for 1 or 2 minutes, you can lose the game.
Organizers say all of this year's players have come prepared to play their hardest, making this year's competition one of the most exciting.
The drumming and the cheering crowd add to the excitement of the game. There are 4 players per team. Each player on the team that is playing has an object in her hand. The guesser on the other team points to where she thinks the objects are. For every wrong guess, the playing team gets a stick. The team that gets all the stick wins. There are many people here who are seeing the games for the first time, including players.
We have read the instructions and we tried a little, so we can do it. We know the rules, we can play, but we don't know how good we are.
For others, this is their first time at the Arctic Winter Games, but they are veterans in hand games. They know that winning will not be easy.
Like I've seen some of them, like we were practicing yesterday, and there was a lot of good teams that were really good, so I'm looking forward to seeing who goes home with the gold today.
These players also know that getting any ulu will not be easy, but they have some tricks up their sleeves, like yelling and making a lot of movements to create confusion. For them, the hand game involves more than pure luck.
They're really cool. They're a lot of fun because you like try to get in other people's head and like try to mess them up, but it's really cool.
Some of these young people may be playing the game for the first time, and they may just be learning how to mess up the opposition. But the way they are playing means this century-old game will be around for a long, long time.
In the lead is number 20, Mitchell Tilley.
The 3 Tilley brothers are competing in the same Arctic Winter Games for the first time. Unfortunately, their parents couldn't make it to Yellowknife, but they were here in spirit. The boys got an encouraging message from their home in Iqaluit by way of our CBC cameras.
Don't worry what's behind you. You just skate your fastest. Good luck, guys.
Calvin Tilley is the middle brother, and he's the only one of the 3 with AWG experience. He represented Nunavut as a skater at the 2006 Games in Kenai, Alaska. He says being at this year's Games with his brothers makes a big difference.
Last AWG, I didn't really have anyone there with me, except my friends, but this time I'm with my family, my brothers, and it feels better just to be around them.
The eldest brother is Samuel and the youngest is Mitchell. Nunavut's coach says each of the 3 boys adds something to the team and helps the others, and he expects we'll be seeing more of young Mitchell down the road.
I started off with just Calvin on the team, but to have his 2 brothers on the team, I think it spurred on Calvin because there's probably a little bit of sibling rivalry, but then Mitchell came on board, and Mitchell's really got a lot of talent probably for the next 3 Arctic Winter Games. And then just having the older brother on there maybe has just been another little bit of emotional kind of support.
Gaining AWG experience will give Mitchell an advantage in the future. His brothers have their own basic strategy for helping him along in his development.
Before he goes out to race, we just tell him good luck, and when he's racing, just tear our hearts out for him.
Speed skating competition has wrapped up at these games, but it likely won't be the last time we hear the name Tilley on the Arctic Winter Games speed skating oval.
According to the Russians, this game originated as a way for men to compete for a wife, serving as a showcase for their strength and endurance.
The man proved himself that he is strong for his fiancée or girlfriend, and then she select the strongest, and whoever is jumping more and longer, that is the strongest man, the strongest person, and she marries him.
Today, it's one of the favorite spectator sports at the Arctic Winter Games. Usually the Russians dominate, but in the junior men's category, there's only one. So that opens up the field for newcomers like 16-year-old Lonnie Bushu from Alaska, It's his first time in the event, but you couldn't tell that by watching him here.
Your back aches like someone just hit it with a sledgehammer, and your calves burn like, I don't know, red hot plate, nails, steel plate.
Each competitor has to jump over 10 sledges. When they get to the end, turn around in one jump and land squarely back on their feet and then keep going. They do this until they make a mistake or until their bodies give out. Rodion Talagan is the world champion in this sport. At the last games, he jumped 830 sledges. He says he's jumped 1,200 in competitions in Russia. Today, he hopes to beat that, even though he's recovering from a leg injury. Still, it takes almost 15 minutes before the pain starts to show. He makes 530 before he gives up. I knew I was injured, but I didn't want to let down the public and my team. I think 530 isn't bad considering my injury. I'll just have to come back next games and do better. But 530 was enough to win the gold. The Russian swept the medals with his closest competitor making 300 jumps. As for the tradition behind the game, 26-year-old Talagan says he's still not married, but when the time comes, he'll be the one doing the picking.
Sure enough, the crowds came. The junior girls were first up. 6 feet 10 inches was tough for many. Kiera Mulali took the gold home for Alberta. During the junior boys final, the crowd sat quietly, but one fan just couldn't stay quiet. With the seal at 8 feet 1 inch, Nunavut's Damien Tudugarjuk had a chance for gold. A very proud moment for his first ever games. The open female final pushed Alaska's Danielle Serbu to her limit. However, she wouldn't give up. She came back and took the bronze uru. Nunavut's Susie Pierce had a chance for the gold. Erica Meckel of Alaska followed and made no mistake. The open men's finalists were Nunavut's Sean Nipisak and Nunavik's Alec Aero. The seal was hanging at 9 feet. There was absolute silence, with Nipisak on his third chance. Then Alec Aero was up. On his second chance. If he hits this, the gold is his.
Let your light shine. Right here, right now. Right here, right now.
Arctic sports have entertained Inuit for thousands of years. There are 11 events, all pit one athlete's strength against another. These games are designed to hone endurance, because in the past, strength and the ability to withstand pain could mean the difference between life and death in the North's harsh climate. Tonight's event, known as Airplane, is a perfect example.
It's one of the most intense events, I think. It's one of the hardest events. Only very few people can go for.
Nunavut has its hopes pinned on a 36-year-old first-time competitor, Larry Nalungyak, whose uncle happens to hold the world record in this event.
My uncle Maccabee in Octo, he taught me about when I was about 14 years old. That's when I've been doing summer games since.
He makes it look easy, but as everyone that goes after him finds out, it's not. Finally, Nalungyak gets some competition. 3-time gold Ulu winner Ilnerat Lindenhan of Greenland. He passes Nalungyak's distance by several feet and captures his 4th gold medal. Nalungyak, whose only training has been hunting and hard work, says he's satisfied with silver.
You know, I'm a bit surprised. I didn't think I was going to go second, but I'm just having fun.
This sport is a test of how much pain one can endure. Each competitor must hop on his toes and fists with his body flat out and rigid. The world record was set by an Alaskan in 1986. He made it 191 feet 10 inches. David Thomas is also from Alaska. These are his 3rd games. His personal best in this event is 108 feet. This time around, he hits 90 feet 11 inches. No one makes it close to that mark until Greenlander Minik Rasmussen takes his turn. Through sheer brute force, he makes it to 82 feet. But then 23-year-old Anthony Awi-Taluk-Tuk of Nunavik does better, reaching 84 feet 5 inches, taking 2nd place.
I get really focused, try to do best I can, go as far as I can, and try not to think about the pain. Try not to feel it.
Sadly, it is time to say goodbye to all of you wonderful young people.
The message was heavy, but the athletes were clearly still having fun, a final celebration. The ceremonies also gave a snapshot of the culture and performance featured during the games. The liveliest got the crowd of athletes into the spirit. One of the high points of the night was the awarding of the Stuart Hodgson Trophy. It is the only trophy given out at the Games, and it recognizes the most sportsmanlike conduct. Team Nunavut took home the trophy. Their chef de mission says the recognition tells him that sport in Nunavut is headed in the right direction.
It means a great deal, I think, to all our volunteers and our athletes and our organizers that we're doing the right thing with our athletes, teach them good spirits, fair play, sportsmanship. I think those are key components to any sport development. You can compete hard, but you can still compete fair and be excited about it and show that, let that show through.
When it was time to leave, athletes trickled out slowly, wanting to stay and hang on to those Arctic Winter Games friendships. The final flicker of the Games, people gathered in the cold to watch the fireworks launched from Frame Lake.